Valheim is a pretty fucking good game, and in this video I'm going to try to explain to you why I think that is. If you didn't know, Valheim is an open world Viking themed survival game created by the small team at Iron Gate Studios, in which the goal is to cleanse the lands of Valheim, a procedurally generated purgatory world that has been taken over by the various creatures and the Forsaken Ones. So I picked this game up upon release with a few friends and I've been having an absolute blast with it. I haven't done one of these videos in this series in over 3 years, which if nothing else shows how much I'm personally enjoying it. And with the game already being downloaded over 2 million times at the time of recording, it seems like a lot of others share the same opinion. So what's the big deal with it? Let's get into it. Well, first of all, it's a survival game. We all know the market is littered with these titles and has been for years. But Valheim isn't just a good PvE survival game, it's just a good game all around. Upon starting, you customize your Viking and are presented with a backstory, and are dropped in via giant bird to your starting location. With nothing but your fists and your panties, your feathered guide appears in front of you, whom informs you of the task at hand, which is locate and murder the several boss creatures around the map, also known as the Forsaken. It's at this point when opening the map you can see how fucking massive the world area is. As previously mentioned, it is procedurally generated, but it's not just vast open spaces of repeated emptiness. The game has multiple biomes ranging from grassy meadows to dark forests, dank swamps and snowy mountaintops, full of varying enemies and monuments, all connected by sprawling rivers and oceans. This brings me to the visuals. I've heard of a few people being turned away by the game's looks and for even some reason the file size of it only being 1 gig. Though the devs have chosen a low-res texture stylized look which they claim was inspired by the early PS1 and old DOS era games, it doesn't stop the game from looking stunning. With a blend of low-res textures and the modern lighting and effects, it really does make for a unique look, which I enjoy. At times it's almost reminiscent of a high-end Minecraft texture pack with sprinklings of RuneScape over it. It's the weather effects that's definitely a high point for the visuals in this game, be it the sun shining through the treetops or the blistering snow, although it's gotta be the rainstorms that I found outstanding and they're really atmospheric. Back to the gameplay. So as I said, you start off with absolutely nothing, rummaging through the forest, picking up the usual survival game suspects of branches and berries. So around that time you may meet your first adversary, the mighty common boar. So filled with determination to get your first kill, you swing your mighty fists and you eat shit. It's at this point I realise, it's one of those games. It's one of those games that can be brutally difficult, but with a little preparation and a very pointy stick, this mighty beast can be taken down. Valheim's difficulty slider is definitely determined by how much you prepare for a situation. So after your first taste of combat, you can surely draw comparisons to Dark Souls. I'm sure Dark Souls fans are sick of hearing that line, but nonetheless, with the dodge rolls, block, parry, stamina bars and the hard-hitting enemies, it definitely gives similar vibes to a Souls-like game, which is a big plus for me. Almost every enemy you come across attacks you in a different way, keeping the combat feeling fresh and staying as far away from the mind-numbing left click to win gameplay loop as it possibly can. There's also a self-progression system in the game, of the likes of Skyrim or RuneScape, where the more you do a certain task, whether it be attacking with a certain weapon type, sneaking, jumping or tree felling, you will gain levels in each of those skills, improving your ability to do each of those activities. But upon dying, you can lose some of the progression in those stats, which in turn makes you want to stay alive, which is kind of crucial in a survival game. Far too often, death in a PvE survival is just a minor inconvenience. Helping you stay alive will be clothes, weapons and food you gain along the way, with your weapons and armor starting off from being the likes of wooden club and rags, to progressing through to mythical frost-bound sledgehammers and shining armor. There's a fair selection of weaponry to choose from the likes of bows, axes, swords, maces, spears and knives, all with varying tiers. In the early game I stuck to my spear and bow, but then grew a love for the mace and shield combination. Hunting wildlife in the early game is very satisfying and rewarding, giving you the hides you need to create clothing and the likes. But most importantly, food. Valheim's food system is really engaging. Sure, you can stay alive in just mushrooms and berries, but every food has unique stats, like how much HP or stamina they give, or for how long you need before you need to chow down on another. I actually have become quite addicted to mass producing the best food types I can for me and the boys that give us that thick HP and stamina bar when out exploring. Even farming wood in this game is satisfying, just stay out of the way. So with your first few kills under your belt and your pockets overfilling, it's probably time to settle down somewhere. which brings us to the building system. The building system in Valheim is simple but great. If you're a function over style sort of person, you can set up your little hut with crafting stations and be set pretty quickly. But for the people out there that are far more creative than I am, you can do so much. I've seen so many screenshots on the Discord and the Reddit of some really incredible builds. You can build from the ground up or retake some broken down structures that are around the map, like I did with this castle ruins here. It can also be really satisfying expanding your homestead for your ever expanding needs. This was my group's first build, which was simple and did the job until that, which was then rebuilt into this. As you may have seen from the clip just a moment ago, the enemies you encounter are much more than just boars and lizards. There's these tree-like grey dwarfs, the hulking trolls, the undead, and much more. Coming across new enemies is a very interesting experience in Valheim, making for many a shitty pant moment and what the fuck is that moment. With each biome having their own creatures and resources, your progression is tied to being able to slay the locals and farm their resources, which in then turn allows you to craft new gear, weapons and tools. One of those progression blocks is one of the things that really makes Valheim stand out from other survivals to me, which is the boss fights. From the moment I summoned the first boss in the game, I knew it was going to be something special. With its unique looking model, attacks and soundtrack, I was having a fucking good time. Each of the bosses you defeat along the way give you a key ingredient onto your progression. The first being the deer's antlers, which allow you to craft a makeshift pickaxe to let you start mining your first metals. Upon smelting your first bar of metal, you unlock a slew of recipes for you to work towards, this becoming a running theme of, oh, if I manage to kill this or farm this, what can I make from it? Making finding new things even more exciting. I really enjoy the progression arc of Valheim. It feels very rewarding making your first metal weapon and using that to split open the head of an enemy that kicked your shit in before. The world evolves with the progress you make. With defeating each boss, the knights can bring enemies that would not normally be in that region, and the random attack events you get bring stronger enemies. The game really makes you want to explore all the different biomes to see what's hiding inside them. The exploration of Valheim really is one of its strongest points. Eventually, you're going to come across the sea, and your little Viking can't swim for shit. So it's time for you to make a sea vessel. At first, all you can make is like a dinky raft, which has varying results. But with some time, effort and better materials, you can create better ships that will take you to new areas across the seas. I love the sailing experience in Valheim. The ships control great, the swell of music as you begin to set off, and the always present fear of what lurks below. Being out at sea in this game is just a great experience. They really did a great job with the visuals out there, especially the storms. As I mentioned a moment ago, the music in this game is really a treat, and it really conveys the atmosphere it's trying to get across. I hope there is somewhere I can get a copy of the soundtrack soon. There's been so many moments that I've loved whilst playing this game, from experience the first night times with the lowered stamina due to the cold and the increase of enemies, and entering the first crypts on my own, shitting my pants and coming back later with some friends. I loved inching my way up the snowy mountains only to reach the top and see an enemy I've never seen before and running away like any big man would. The first few farms of the sunken crypts in the swamp for iron felt super intense and rewarding. I also loved launching a ship-based attack on a goblin-claimed island. I'm sure I've got much more of these experiences to come as the game is progressed, because all of this in the game and it's still early access. For the game being this early and having this much content, depth and polish, and for this price tag, I am more than delighted with my purchase of Valheim. At the time of release of this video, I've already got like 130 plus hours in the game and I've loved every minute. I really look forward to see what's still to come with the game, and with the roadmap being released by Irongate, we kinda get a glimpse of that, and to say the least, I'm stoked. Honestly, I highly recommend getting a few friends together and giving this game a crack if you haven't already, as it's an absolute treat. Also to Iron Gate, thanks for this proper gem of a game. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope you enjoyed the game, and feel free to subscribe for more video game content mediocrity. Peace. See that? See that deer? This is what I'm gonna do to you. Boom!
Okay, cool. See ya.
Come on, you hit it. You fucking bitch.
Guys, I think I found Bigfoot.
You're chasing Jay.
Alright,
No, he's chasing Nick.
Oh, Nick.
Fucking idiot.
But beams.
Get the fuck out,
Holy shit! You went fucking flying.
Jay, keep a real good eye out on the rocks.
Yeah, you go into the middle of it. Near the middle.
Mum's a hoe. Oh, I'm sorry.
He threw a fucking rock at us!
Literally in response to you saying it as well.
Hey, why are you naked? Ah, I'm on fire! Ah!